43-game winning streak. It was also the first win for UCLA over a number one team in program history. London Jones led the 5-0 Bruins with 15 points off the bench. The Clippers started a 4-game road trip with a 125-99 win at Philadelphia. James Harden had 23 points and 8 assists. The Clippers are at Boston on Monday. The Lakers are off until Tuesday at Phoenix. The Rams dropped to 5-6 after a 37-20 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles running back Saquon Barkley had 255 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. The Chargers are on Monday Night Football tonight against Baltimore. Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh is 0-2 against his brother John Harbaugh, Baltimore's head coach. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours. Now through December 20th, all of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net, and together we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
Ready. Build from the dirt. Ready. Love, build from the dirt. It ain't no shortcut, home, gotta get what you worth. I'ma send a bill for the verse. That ain't you spinning imperfect, it is less work. I ain't gotta deal with the personal fear in the verse of the year. Cause my slap, it ain't been close in a year. Y'all see my close in the mirror. Y'all getting no cap. That bounce different when the in the house with me. He be quiet as a mouse, quiet as a cap. I ain't come to mouth with you. Everything that I'm about different, the amount different to the clout dripping. He be sitting on the couch chilling with the niggas that was in the house with him. And that figures. Fools rap one pandemic and then swear that they own. They swear that they own. Wanna feel love like this, but you won't feel love like this till you dead and you gone. Watch what you say, cause the gang in here. Watch for the snakes if you stay in here. They ask when you start putting haze in the air. I said, bro, shit changed in a year. Dividends, what the difference is. Independent with the business is. I've been in the gym on my 50th.
Welcome forward.
Drag race at the dealership.
You are listening. You are tapped in on First Things First with Dominique DiPrima, but you are listening to Swear to God by Miles Lowe, who's also running the ship this morning. Shout out to Miles Lowe for putting conscious music into the world and for waking us up this morning. Listen, I am not Dominique DiPrima. I am actually your guest host today. Dominique is out traveling. I am Dr. Sunshine Crawford, host of the Dr. Sunshine Show. My show airs on Sunday mornings from 8 to 9. So if you want to get up, wake up, and get your Sunday morning started, tap in right here on KBLA from 8 to 9 a.m. And I also want to share with you some wonderful news that I'm very proud of. And I want to share it here with you today. On Friday, this upcoming Friday, we call it Black Friday. Black on Black Friday. Black Friday, I am releasing my very first book. The book is called Employ Your Pain, Putting the Hurt to Work for You. And I invite you to grab a copy on all book outlets, online, BookBaby in particular. Grab a copy of yours today. Learn how to transform your pain into purpose and power. But listen, today we have an inspiring hour with a very inspiring special guest, one that I am familiar with. She's going to be joining us on the show today, Dr. Gloria Morrow. Dr. Morrow is a renowned clinical psychologist as well. She's an author as well of many titles. She's a transformational leader. She's dedicated her career to helping people navigate life's toughest moments. She currently serves as Director of Behavioral Health for Unicare Community Health Center, where she oversees mental health services, and she's and for 13 clinics. Her impressive career, and it is impressive to imagine that she's still doing some things, has taken her career's taken her from academia, where she's been the associate professor and clinical training director, to pages of nationally acclaimed publications, like one I'm very familiar with, Psychology Today. She has many book titles. We're going to jump into those book titles during this hour today. Listen, I don't know if you're dealing with a life-altering crisis, a relationship, a spiritual pain and hurt. Dr. Gloria Morrow is here to help us unpack it. Welcome, Dr. Gloria Morrow. Welcome to First Things First.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Dr. Morrow. So I am happy. I was very happy to hear that you'd be joining me. We've been on this same platform before, you and I.
Yes, we have.
We definitely have. So I'm looking forward to this hour. Listen, Dr. Morrow, how would you like me to refer to you? Dr. Gloria, Dr. Morrow, Gloria Morrow? What are we doing this morning?
You can call me Gloria. You can call me whatever.
Before I settled on Dr. Sunshine, I think I felt the same way. I'm cool now with Dr. Sunshine. Here's the interesting thing. There's so much to talk about with you. I feel like we just burned through half of the hour with all of your many accomplishments in just the intro. Oh my gosh, what an impact life already.
Well, look, I want to say to you, congratulations on that new book, and I will get my copy and share that news with my folks, because we need as many ways to help us to heal. So thank you for doing that. Thank you.
I appreciate that from a person with so many publications out there contributing to the world, let alone the field of psychology. I definitely am honored to even hear that. So many people in pain, so many people to recover from pain.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
The thing I love about you, Dr. Morrow, you have dedicated your life to helping people recover from pain. So, and I said today, let's talk about managing the moment. I don't know. Let's just jump right in. Tools to manage the moment. What does that mean?
Well, first, I think we have to unpack what managing the moment is, because I think some people kind of skip by that. But
as I just did,
I both know. No, but you and I, but they do. You know, they kind of
for sure
skip over it. You know what? You know, they don't even think about what can I do for the here and now, because I'm worried about what's going to happen, or I'm sad because of what has happened. So let's dig in there, and we know, you and I know, that we are in a moment. We're in a moment, not just politically, but we're in a moment when we think about, just how people are doing. There are a lot of people that are still struggling financially.
Yes.
The holidays are coming up. There have been a lot of losses. I mean, even I've been hit with loss. I lost a cousin 3 weeks ago, and then 2 weeks ago lost a nephew. And so when we think about human suffering, it seems that it never ends. But one thing that has been comforting for me is just what you said, and that's dealing with the moment. Because in this very moment, I have a roof over my head, I have some food in the kitchen, the house is warm, and I guess the point I'm making, and it sounds so simple until we overlook it. When we start feeling grateful for what we do have, instead of focusing on what we don't have, we can do a lot better mentally and emotionally. So one of the tools is to be grateful for the here and now, I do have.
Yeah, there is a whole modality that is carved out to help people be in the here and now. Isn't it interesting how difficult it is to stay in the moment? We really lose out on a lot because we can't be in the moment. If I'm honest, I've missed out on so many wonderful things because I was already thinking about the future. So I missed what was happening in the moment. I'm trying to be more mindful. That's actually the modality. It's mindfulness.
That's the modality.
That's actually the modality. It's being mindful. And I think you're right.
Yes.
The first tool to manage the moment is to embrace the moment and to be in the moment. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
In the moment.
Why do you think we have such a difficult time being or remaining? And so for all of you listening, you understand what I mean. Like, we're physically in the moment, but our minds are somewhere else. Why do you think it's so difficult to keep your mind grounded in what's happening in the here and now?
Because we have to have control. And if I have to have control, I have to start thinking about, what's going to happen tomorrow. I've been asked to speak in terms of what's happened politically, and people are so anxious and worried, and
I'm going there.
And I know, and I have to just say, you know what? Let's stay in the moment. Nothing has happened yet. Now, we see things that could happen. Things may happen. But if I'm already anxiety-ridden about things before they even happen, I'm just a wreck. And God forbid that it doesn't happen.
You know what?
What happens when it doesn't happen?
Oh, my goodness. There is I can tell you already, if you are tapped into this conversation that Dr. Sunshine and Dr. Gloria Morrow are having right now, I believe that you may find there is a lot to unpack. I would love, Dr. Morrow, to talk about this political climate that we're in, the overwhelm as it relates to some of the outcomes, and the big one, the anxiety and the anxiousness that some of us are feeling post-election day. So much to unpack. Dr. Morrow, thank you so much for coming on. I am ready to dive in, and we'll do that. We're going to take a pause for the cause. This is First Things First with Dominique DiPrima. I'm your host today, Dr. Sunshine, and we will unpack with Dr. Morrow when we come forward.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
It's Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Get a head start on Black Friday all month long with exclusive deals. Right now, get 25% off select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees just in time for the holidays. And get a free select tool when you buy a select battery or combo kit. So don't wait to save. Shop these deals in-store or online now because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/21 through 11/27 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay. Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacin-capted Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome forward. You're listening to First Things First with Dominique DiPrima. I am sitting in for Dominique today. My name is Dr. Sunshine Crawford. You can find me actually as the host of the Dr. Sunshine Show, also here on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm on Sunday mornings from 8 to 9, and on the Dr. Sunshine Show, we are breaking down stigma and all things that impede on your mental health. The wonderful thing is that we are also doing that this hour. I am joined for the remainder of the hour with Dr. Gloria Morrow, who has also dedicated her life to helping to break down barriers and stigma that impede on your peace. So welcome forward, Dr. Morrow. Again, thank you so much for joining us and imparting all of your wisdom and experience with us this morning.
It's my honor.
Indeed, and our honor as well, and actually as well, and actually. But before the break, we're talking about mindfulness and how to stay in the moment. And you said something. You said, well, one of the reasons why it's so difficult to stay in the moment is because we're very well, you didn't say we're anxious. What you said is we want to be in control.
In control.
We want to be in, we're trying to, the new and popular phrase is controlling the narrative. We want to control the narrative. And there's some danger to that. Talk to me about why that overwhelm is there. Well, why are we, what causes us to be so overwhelmed and needing to be so in control?
Yeah, well, it's because of our anxiety. You know, we feel like if we can control it, then we can ease that angst and that tension that we feel when we are thinking about things that could happen. And so what I've even had to do myself is just really, especially with regards to this political stuff, because I found myself captured up in it. So I was on the news every day. I was looking at every poll.
Yes.
I was just saying, you know, how is the poll not different? You know, I was just really, consumed with it because of fear. So the opposite word for us that we have to look at is fear. You know, when we think about anxiety, and you know this, you know, anxiety is based on fear. I'm afraid that something either will or will not happen. And because of that, I have to control this so I can try to change the outcome, which is ludicrous because we can't change the outcome anyway.
There's only so much we can do. There's only so much. And I think we have a difficult time accepting the things that we can grasp inside of our hands and accepting that there is only so much that we can do. The way I like to describe to people what anxiety is, because I think it's important to identify it. That way you'll have an idea and you'll know when you're doing it. I always say anxiety is overwhelming worry about a thing that you believe you have no control over. And it goes back to what you said, control. We feel like we're lacking control, and that is what causes the anxiety. And one remedy to that is facts, right? Can we grab hold of the facts? That's difficult. You said before the break, you said this election, we're all wound up tight about what may be, what might happen. There's fear around what could be, what the new reality might look like. Dr. Morrow, when we talk about the election and the political climate and environment that we're currently in, and this is on both sides of the aisle, how can we, like, we're post-election, but technically nothing's really happening, so we kind of feel in limbo a little bit. How do we manage this limbo state that we're in?
Yeah. Well, see, I think it's what we should have been doing and should do anyway, and that's to do good work ourselves. It's like be the change that you want to see. So, no, we may not have the ability to make nationwide change, but I can make changes in my home. I can make changes in my community. I can participate in organizations that I'm a part of and bring about change. I can do things that will have an impact, a positive impact. And that does two things. Number one, that really helps to correct the problem. And number two, it's a wonderful distraction, because how can I be worried and stressed out and anxious about something that hasn't even happened yet if I'm busy creating ideas and meeting with like-minded people and being around positive people who are forward-thinking? When I do that, then I don't think about what's happening in Washington, because 9 times out of 10, regardless of who gets in there, things are not going to happen the way we think they're going to happen anyway, because, you have other people who are in control of that, called the House and the Senate. So it doesn't matter who's in there. Things can be shaken up. But what I can do, I can make sure I'm on a task force to deal with homelessness. I can make sure I'm on a task force to deal with the unhoused and to help feed people and to participate, especially during the season where people are struggling to just make ends meet and don't have the potential to take care of their basic needs, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs that I can help with. I can help with some of those things, because I can help empower people to seize the moment, to be in the moment, to deal with what's at hand, as opposed to thinking about this stuff that has not happened yet or may not even happen.
Yeah, and may not even happen, which means that we've worked ourselves up for no reason at all. Now, I happen to know that you also help people navigate through spiritual challenges as well.
Yes.
And so how do we approach this from a spiritual point of view? Or let's talk about how your spirituality, your spiritual foundation can show up and play its part when you are having these moments of feeling out of control or overwhelmed.
Well, Dr. Sunshine, it is critical. And whatever spirit you connect with, it is important for us to definitely activate our spiritual connection, because at the end of the day, now for me, I'm unapologetically Christian. And as for me,
amen.
That has been the real deal. Because when I decided to really let God and let go of this and to say, I have to activate my faith now to understand that God knows much better than me.
Yep.
And again, I'm unapologetically a Christian. I'm not denouncing anyone else's faith or whatever their spiritual or non-spiritual is. But for me, that has been such a sense of relief, because that's where we don't have to worry about controlling something, because God is ultimately in control. So I just say, you know what, God, you're in control of this. You will work this out. This is bigger than me. I'm going to stop worrying about it. I'm going to stop focusing on MSNBC every day. I'm going to play my music. That's right. I'm going to listen to my music. I'm going to be encouraged. I'm going to be thinking about how I can create something that helps our people, and that's going to help me. That's really going to help me, and it has.
So I think one of the things you're saying, definitely spirituality, but another thing that you're saying is sometimes we have to take a sabbatical from all of the chaos that is feeding the anxiety. I think it's important to know what's feeding the fear, what's feeding the worry. So when you say MSNBC, I hear about people taking sabbaticals from social media. I personally think it's also important at times to take a sabbatical from the news. And I'm learning. I've been learning more and more and more how much the news cycle that you listen to, that you watch, influences how you think. The information that you take in influences the way that you think. So we definitely have to take charge and be responsible for what we do take in and what we consume. You know what I mean?
What we ingest.
What we ingest, because that in and of itself may be the culprit. Maybe.
It is.
As it relates to the elections this go round, I found myself less engulfed and engaged in news. The last time there was the presidential election, I mean, I couldn't turn the TV off. I feel like I was watching like a series-long episode for 4 years. So, this time around, I'm trying to be more selective about what I take in, what I ingest, what I consume. Now, when we talk about spirituality and how it is a foundation for so many people, I want to tap back around to you, because as it relates to spirituality, there is a very recent event that just occurred with one of the pastors that we look up to on the national platform. And I think I want to tap in with you. What do we do when our spiritual leaders appear that, maybe they might not be as strong as they, were at one time? So we'll get into that. If you don't mind, Dr. Morrow, we'll jump into that on the other side. When we come forward, we'll take a break right now for news and traffic.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mimi Brown with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is approving a ceasefire deal in principle with Hezbollah. That's according to multiple reports. Israel is reportedly skeptical about some of the details in the agreement as negotiations continue. The ceasefire would also have to be approved by the Israeli cabinet. The cost of childcare is now right up there with the cost of rent. That's according to the Labor Department, which says parents are spending around $15,000 or more for full-day care per child. Miami International Airport officials say this will be one of the busiest weeks of the year. They expect 157,000 passengers a day through December 3rd. Wicked soared to the top of the box office weekend. The musical grossed an estimated $114 million in its opening weekend. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer custom-made faux wood and real wood blinds and shutters, cellular shades, Roman shades, bamboo shades, exterior shades, and more, all at factory direct prices. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to blindster.com.
Is this the Tiger? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A monumental win Sunday for the UCLA women's basketball team. The Bruins beat number 1 South Carolina 77-62 in front of a sellout crowd at Pauley Pavilion. The win snapped South Carolina's 43-game winning streak. It was also the first win for UCLA over a number 1 team in program history. London Jones led the 5-0 Bruins with 15 points off the bench. The Clippers started a 4-game road trip with a 125-99 win at Philadelphia. James Harden had 23 points and 8 assists. The Clippers are at Boston on Monday. The Lakers are off until Tuesday at Phoenix. The Rams dropped to 5-6 after a 37-20 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles running back Saquon Barkley had 255 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. The Chargers are on Monday Night Football tonight against Baltimore. Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh is 0-2 against his brother John Harbaugh, Baltimore's head coach. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We hope you have a safe and relaxing holiday season. Mask up and stay safe. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got a lot to talk about. And your voice is critical to all the conversation. Happy holidays.
Tips to help improve basic steps for building a budget in 2024. Building a budget can help you achieve and reach your financial goals. With a budget, you can keep track of your spending, avoid and get out of debt, limit overspending, pay bills on time, and build solid savings habits. What's the best way to get started? Figure out how much to set aside for expenses, like rent, mortgage, bills, groceries, and entertainment. Understanding your past financial habits can help you make the proper adjustments for your budget. Adjusting to a budget can take time as you work to find the right balance, but keep working on it. For more financial health tips, visit chase.com or stop by a local branch. This segment is sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Bad Ash Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Special requests from Molly Bell, who is joining us this morning on YouTube. Control is what we're talking about. Dr. Morrow, Gloria Morrow, is my very, very special guest this morning. And we're talking about how to manage the moment when you're feeling out of control. Hey, but after speaking with you, Dr. Morrow, now I've got a lot. Yeah, man. So just before we broke for the break, and now we are coming back together again, full and in whole, we were talking about how our spirituality can be our foundation. I, like you, am unapologetically Christian, but we know that people tap into whatever their God center is. What do you say to people like right now? T.D. Jakes, Pastor, Bishop T.D. Jakes, live and on a worldwide platform, seems to have had a health crisis before our eyes. How do we manage for some panic that happens when our spiritual leaders seem to be going through?
Yes, well, first and foremost, my thoughts and prayers
are
out to Bishop T.D. Jakes and his family during this time. And I've heard good reports that he is recovering, so we are thankful for that.
I appreciate that update. I hadn't heard anything quite yet.
Yes, well, his daughter gave a video confirmation that he is stable and doing well. And
wonderful.
Under the care of the medical professionals, so we thank God for that.
Yeah.
But I'll say it's just like anything else, and keep in mind that people who panic easily, they are people who panic easily about pretty much everything. We all can experience a sense of panic when something like that happens because, unfortunately, some people really believe that our spiritual leaders are superheroes and that they should live forever, that they should never get sick, they should never make a mistake, that they are definitely on a different plane. And while, yes, our spiritual leaders should try to be above the fray with a lot of different things, but they are still mortal. They are still flesh and bone. And so I just encourage anyone who is still feeling that panic, to know that this is going to happen for anybody because we're all made of the same thing, and we're all going to be susceptible. But I do think the vast majority of people who may have been shocked in the moment immediately went to their spiritual source and started praying, for his recovery, and would continue to pray after it is over. When you have a mega church, you've got a combination. You have seasoned folks there, you have baby people there, then you have some people who are just kind of, we call those looky-loos, and they really don't have a spiritual center. So when stuff like this happens, it's just devastating because they don't understand that these things are going to happen. I'm shocked, when they don't happen because this is life. And so really trying to help us to become more grounded in our spiritual center and also grounded in the idea that life is not predictable and that anything and everything can happen. But if I stay centered, if I keep myself surrounded with positive people, because that's the other tool, because some of us continue to feel anxious because we are hanging around people that are so negative and anxious. And not only is it the media feeding us, but these people are in our ear. So I don't get a break. I can't really think about anything positive because every time I talk to somebody, they're in a hole. And you got to stop talking to people in a hole. You got to talk to people who have climbed out of the hole and they're moving forward.
Yeah, I always say you want to surround yourself with people your circle encompasses a lot of people, but you definitely want to surround yourself with people who you can look up to look forward to, who can also elevate you mentally, spiritually, You know, and sometimes even physically, with physical health being so important too, you definitely want to be mindful
Yes.
of who, because the people in your circle definitely have influence over your life. They have the ability to influence and impact your day. You know, I'll
Yes.
say this, there's a lot that you said there, Dr. Morrow, that is so important to take in right now. You know, we were discussing that one way to gain control and lessen the overwhelm that comes with worrying is to know the facts. And
Mhm.
that just kind of rings true. My husband and I are pastors of the Experienced Christian Ministries, and my husband is right now dealing with a health challenge, sciatica and Graves' disease. And because he lost the
Mhm.
weight so quickly, like right in front of our eyes, there was a
Mm.
nervous panic, which is why I saw the same thing happening with us being able to see TD Jakes. One of the things
Mhm.
that we have made a point to do is to be transparent and to share
Yes.
the facts in this
Mhm.
case. And I think that helps. So when you say that his daughter did provide an update, you see how immediately I said, whew, I'm glad to hear it. And
Yes.
we found that same
Mhm.
thing when we share with the congregation what it is they're looking at, what the prognosis is, you know, what the
Yes.
progress has been so far. Then it helps people to not be so fearful because we understand. We're afraid of what we don't know.
Yes. And truth is still relevant.
Oh
Truth
gosh.
is still relevant. And we
Yeah.
saw it on social media when this thing broke yesterday. Boy, people had him with a stroke. They had
Oh.
all kinds of
This
stuff,
morning
you
I
know.
tapped in and somebody said he died. I'm like,
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
check, fake news. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
absolutely. So I just think that we are going to be victimized by social media because that's part of the design, to get a rise out of people. And so people will, seize that moment. And when people are sending you this is to all the viewers and listeners out there, when people send you stuff from social media, stop sharing it
Yeah.
until it is fact checked. You don't know if that's true. So fact check before you do that.
That's a bar, Dr. Morrow. I have to tell you, at one point, or probably at a few different points, I was guilty of that. Something comes
Mhm.
down my news feed pipeline, it's sensationalized, and I honestly was just sharing it and putting it on my story just to find out that it was fake news. So I think you're right
Mhm.
in that we should also be responsible with the news that we disseminate as well. Particularly
Absolutely.
now that I am a host on a whole platform, I definitely
Mhm.
have to be careful about that. But shifting just a little bit, um, your book, Too Broken to Be Fixed, um,
Yeah.
in it integrates spirituality into healing. And my question for you is, for anyone who may feel disconnected from their spiritual beliefs during times like this, especially when times
Mhm.
get hard or when the outcomes are not what we expected them to be. This is what I'm
Mhm.
finding here in California, dealing in the Black community. I found that a lot of people, not every person, but a lot of people are disappointed with
Mhm.
both the local elections and the national elections.
Mhm.
And so it's
Mhm.
hard times. So how do you recommend that they reconnect and and find I don't know, to find hope? How do they
Yes.
how can they not be too broken to be fixed?
Yes. Well, I think one of and I'll speak for me. I'm a professional, but I'm also a person, and I was also feeling the way many people felt. But for me, reconnecting to my faith has been critical. And the ways I've done that is through prayer, through reading scripture. But I've been singing. Dr. Sunshine, I've been
Ooh.
pulling up some of those old songs and just reconnecting to my sweet place You know, all of us should have a sweet place where you go and you feel comfort and and it shouldn't be a cheeseburger or something unhealthy, but, you know, the sweet place should be something that just reminds you that God is still here. And I have done that. I have been sharing stuff on my platform, songs and music, and really trying to help people to go back to their source, the power source. And it has really helped me. And I found that anytime I'm feeling that angst or feeling uncertain about anything, when I go back to that place, I go to a place of peace. And that's why staying in the here and now is so important for us. If we're going to be at peace without our heads, you know, you have to shut your brain off sometimes and just say, stop it. You know, just cut it out. I'm thinking way down the road. Cut it out. Just stop it. Get centered. Go for a walk. You know, it's another way to tune in to our spirit. When we're getting out into the air and walking and just having nature around us. You know, when COVID happened, I was just in shock. I thought that the world was getting ready to end.
Yeah.
You know? But you know what I did? I got in my car and went for a drive, and I was reminded that we're okay. I saw the mountains; they had not crumbled. I saw houses. I saw other cars on the freeway, and that gave me a great sense of relief. So we've got to get grounded in our own truth and reality. That no matter what's going on, I'm going to be okay. But the spirit is so important to activate during these times.
You know, again, there's a nugget there. There's a nugget there. It's being in the moment, in the here and now, but also able to leave it in a healthy manner. That we have got to we got to get inside of that bag. We'll do that. Hang on just one moment. We're going to dig in that bag when we come forward. This is First Things First with Dominique DiPrima.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
This season, Chevy brings classic pairings, cookies and milk, mistletoe and kisses, and your holiday plans and a new Chevy. Silverado 1500 gives you power and capability with 430 pound-feet of torque to haul your holiday tree. The Equinox EV and all-new Equinox, America's best compact SUV for new vehicle quality by J.D. Power, offer both confidence and style to see you through the holiday season. It's easy to see why Chevy makes everything better and brighter. Find your red tag. Get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select popular Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Award based on 2024 models for J.D. Power 2024 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information. Visit jdpower.com/awards. Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Silverado, Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 refinance. Example down payment is 22.2%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 12/2/24.
For older adults in LA County, staying connected is more important than ever. Free Wi-Fi access helps you keep in touch with loved ones, stay informed, and manage your health through telehealth services. Whether video chatting with family, following news, or accessing health info, the internet is here to help. Don't miss out. Find your connection at libraries, parks, and community centers. To learn more about these resources, visit lacountyandU.com. That's lacountyandU.com.
If you're an adult in need of accredited high school diploma, the Los Angeles Public Library can help. You can earn one for free in as few as 5 months online with 24/7 access. You also get a personal academic coach plus special training focused on 9 in-demand industries, as well as a resume and cover letter to advance your career. Visit the website at lapl.org/diploma. That's lapl.org/diploma.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Welcome forward. You're listening to Dominique DiPrima with First Things First. I am your host today, Dr. Sunshine Crawford, joined with Dr. Gloria Morrow. And Dr. Gloria, I want to jump right back into the bag that we left off in. You were talking about singing a sweet song and listening to music as, one coping strategy to keep you connected spiritually.
Yeah.
I think that is amazing, Dr. Morrow. One of the things I want to say about it, I'm glad that you bring up that tool to stay grounded, because two things can be true at the same time. That is what I realized when you said that. We can be in the moment, presently in the moment, and we can teleport back to the future as well. It's just that I'm glad you highlight how music has the power to do that. I can be right here, and when Molly Bell requested Control, I go right back to where I was the summer of that year when Control was blasting on the radio. You know what I mean? We have the the ability to be in the here and now and reminiscing to a wonderful place as well.
Absolutely. I began to think as I was feeling that angst, but then I flipped and I said, boy, but I sure feel like going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then that song came up for me. And I started humming that song.
That song.
And that just took me to a place of absolute peace.
Shouldn't we all have that song? We should have a song in our hearts that we can just go to, right? Wouldn't that be amazing?
Absolutely.
It absolutely would be amazing.
Yes.
So listen, really, I definitely, the time flies by when you're having fun. So I want to make sure I get this in. One of your books is called Create Your Blueprint for Good Success.
Yes.
In that book, in as a parlay from that book, let me ask you this question. What role does self-reflection play in managing difficult emotions, in the moment? And how can we start that process? I think that's a good tidbit to hang on this hour.
Yes. Well, first of all, self is so pivotal to us being able to manage our emotions during tough times. We have to definitely do that work and be willing to do that work, being self-reflective, thinking about the fact, am I feeling hysterical because I am overthinking, or I am feeling fearful, or I'm feeling worried? I've got to get me in check, because most of the time we want to get somebody else straightened out. But it's really me. I have to take control of my emotions. That's why I love the book by Don Luis that talks about the 4 agreements.
Oh, yeah.
That we need to start making with ourselves, being impeccable with our word. Stop taking everything personal. Don't make assumptions, and be the best you can be. And those are so pivotal as we try to work on healing self. So that way I can really take responsibility for my thought processes. It doesn't matter what anybody else does, but I do get to control my thinking.
You get to control. You do have control over what you think. Yeah.
I cannot control anyone's behavior, but I can control my thinking about it. I can control my actions. I can forgive some people. I can give myself permission to forgive people, so that every time I see them or I hear their name or whatever, I'm just going back into a tizzy. I can decide to do that.
I'm thinking for some people, you're absolutely right, but for some people, that is so tough to do. We just have a few minutes left. How can people turn their toughest moments into opportunities for growth and success? I want your take on it. That is actually what, when you talked about my book, that's actually what my book is about. How do you say we turn, how do we do that? How do we turn the page on the toughest, most difficult moments in life?
Yeah, because we start understanding that there's purpose in our suffering.
Woo! Say it again.
Yeah, there is purpose in our suffering. So I go through something, and what are the lessons? How can this be a blessing to somebody else? How can I make this work? I'm going to tell you really quickly. I just walked with a dear, dear sister as she was going through the death of her son and decided to donate organs. And I encouraged her to do the honor walk. And I wanted her to see this image. You're walking him as far as you can take him to the door of that surgery so that he will give his organs. But think about this. As he's transitioning, he's giving life. It's all about perspective. When there is purpose in our suffering, we don't know whether or not that young man came here, lived here for the time he lived here to be able to help somebody else to live, and then he's gone.
And then he's gone.
He's gone. But if you start looking at these things that happen in our lives as an opportunity to be a blessing, no matter how painful they are, it gives us joy and peace. Now, initially, we may not like it. It may not feel good, and it's okay to say it doesn't. But when you start coming to yourself, and like you said earlier, when you have self-awareness and you understand the spirit inside you, when these things happen, you're able to say, wow, God just helped me turn those lemons into lemonade because I see it.
Turn those lemons into lemonade. And I love that you talk about turning tough times and challenges into purpose. And, and the selfless plug, the book that I just completed. And again, folks, it'll be out Black Friday. So grab it. It's called Employ Your Pain. Why not employ your pain and turn pain into power and transformative purpose? So that Dr. Morrow is definite. Those are definitely words to hang on. As always, you are just a powerful force with all kinds of jewels and nuggets to spread around. And hopefully our listeners were able to grab hold of some of that gold dust that you sprinkled out on us over the airwaves and on YouTube today. Thank you so much for joining me for this hour. Yes, it was a pleasure having you. Listen, folks, coming up next is Tavis Smiley on the Tavis Smiley Show. So make sure you keep that dial, keep your app open, keep your YouTube going right here on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mimi Brown with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is approving a ceasefire deal in principle with Hezbollah. That's according to multiple